It's a huge deal. We can't forget the history. Here in Ontario, this legislature passed a bounty on the head of Louis Riel. So much so that in spite of him being elected as a member of parliament on numerous occasions, he was never able to take his seat in Ottawa because of the anti-Métis sentiment here in Ontario.
On November 16th in 1885, Métis leader Louis Riel was executed. Now on the anniversary of his death, recognized as Louis Riel Day, flags have been raised in honor of his legacy at both Toronto City Hall and here at Queen's Park.
He stood as a leader, speaking on behalf of Métis in Manitoba, in Saskatchewan. He was the leader behind the Red River Resistance, as well as the Northwestern Resistance, which is part of this country's story. As the Crown pushed westward and started to encroach on Métis and First Nation lands, the Métis stood up and resisted against that.
By 1870, Riel forming a government called the Provisional Council, which played a pivotal role negotiating Manitoba into Confederation.
And as Métis in northeastern Saskatchewan, once again, stood up against the encroachment on Métis lands, Canada actually sent out a military force, as they did in the Red River, which led to several battles, and ultimately the Battle of Batoche. Louis Riel, as one of the key leaders of that rebellion, turned himself in.
Riel was tried for high treason. Although the jury at the time reportedly was pushing for clemency, Riel was sentenced to death and hung.
Let us also celebrate Mr. Riel's service as an elected member of the House of Commons who contributed significantly to the political landscape of his era.
His bravery, his vision are vital to Métis prosperity here in the province of Ontario.
Also attending the ceremony, Ontario's new Lieutenant Governor, Edith Dumont.
Métis communities here in Ontario and across the Métis Nation homeland have beautiful, rich histories. We are truly a people of this land.
When we look back at historical figures, we'll often they get categorized as a thinker, a peacemaker, a warrior for whatever value they brought to the table in any of those roles. How should we be thinking of him?
The man of the hour. Louis Riel was a visionary. He was a spiritual leader. He was a politician through and through. He was a beautiful orator.
At Queen's Park, David Zura, City News.